Well, the dichotomy I think in the industry is that people think that being professional and being caring are two separate things, and I think that's a false opposition. You can be highly professional and highly caring at the same time, and that's a role model. And I think people in some circles call it also servant leadership, and that's a model that actually exists and many people actually live out. And so it's a false dichotomy. Yeah.
Good. But do you have any?
Yeah, I think it's a false opposition. Like people say, to be a business person, you don't need to be an effective business person. You don't need to be a jerk. I think you can be an effective business person by treating people with dignity and respect, but it doesn't mean that you're going to shy away from tough decisions, because sometimes you need to make tough decisions. Like I had to part ways. Somebody's not a fit, and you need to make a hard decision. But how you treat a person in that process is really important. And so think to yourself, how would you like to be treated if the inevitable conclusion is this is not a fit and we got to part ways? So do you need to be a jerk in that process? No, you don't need to. You can be a respectful person. There's many people that we terminated over the years and we're still friends with. And in some cases, like this is the best thing that happened to me because I needed to learn a lesson, and I needed a break to realize that. And then I realized that the experience we had was something I was not fully ready to embrace, but now I am, and it changed my trajectory. And these things last forever, because sometimes people think, oh, is this a story that never ends and happen? And sometimes it ends. Like I'm in an innovation business. At some point, we may sell the business because the innovation needs to put in the hands of people who can multiply it for the benefit of larger industry, and also to maximize the profit for the shareholders, which is also a good thing. It's not it's not the only goal, but it's also an important piece. And people say, where did the experience? I remember the last company told me, where did the experience that we live together go with it? Where they die? And it says, it doesn't die if the next company we go to, we apply the same principles. So wherever you go, we may not be working together, and you are trying to affect that environment to your example, and trying to live this culture we've been living, and be an example, and be a transformative example, the dream continues. It doesn't stop here, And whatever we live remains true forever. It can become your inspiration for whatever else you'll do in the future. And so these things are dynamic, as we may be feeling or riding high wave and doing things well, but things will change. But again, the only thing we have as anchor for us is the present moment. How are we going to decide to live that present moment in whatever setting we are?